Hello, this is John the Computer Don from johnthecomputerdon.com, and I am coming to you today with information about IT certifications and how to get into the IT field when you're first starting off. This is something that I've actually been asked about a lot on Facebook. Recently started a Facebook page and website because I want to help new people breaking into the IT field, and also to give you my experiences and my opinions on how I perceive modern IT today and how hiring managers make their decisions. Again, I am on the East Coast of the United States. I've been in Florida, I've been in New York, and I've seen how companies that I'm working for hire individuals and what qualities are most important to them. So without further ado, let's get into the core of what you need to be successful in this field, and more importantly, what you need to do to get your first job. The first thing to remember is that experience will trump all certifications. Every time, no matter what, I don't care what anybody says, experience is more important than anything in this field, period. So with that in mind, the first things that you need to be doing before you actually consider doing a certification is getting your feet wet in the field. You might ask, how do I do that? If I don't have experience and I don't have certifications, how am I going to ever land a job in IT? Well, this is how you're going to do it. If you are in college, you want to go to your college's help desk and ask them if you can be a part of it. Volunteer for it. Most of the time you're going to be doing password resets, but you might come across some instances where you are doing real computer work that will help you. And to be honest with you, regardless, it's still experience that you can put on a resume, and you can say, I worked for my college's help desk for such and such amount of time, and can I get a job with you guys? The second to remember is privately offering your services to the common person. Put an ad out on Craigslist. Put flyers up at your local grocery store, if they let you. Make sure you ask. Put a cardboard sign and a stick on the side of the road and just say, hey, I am into computers and I want to fix your problems. This is the best way of being able to get a little bit of money on the side and get experience in how to fix problems for outside of the corporate environment, actually fixing problems for customers who in most cases probably don't know how to turn the PC on, let alone how to remove a virus. That's going to be your bread and butter. Start out at like $20 an hour and raise it up until you have enough work. I mean, once you start off in that, you want to make sure that you charge low, get as much business as possible, and then start bumping the prices up. Just let people know that you're inundated and you need to be able to effectively make sure that you have enough time for the amount of money, I guess, you want. I don't know. Craigslist is a fickle thing, and starting off that way it can also be very difficult. You're going to really have to market yourself. So that brings me to my next point, that the best way, in my opinion, is to go and offer your services to nonprofit organizations. Shoot an email out to every nonprofit organization in your area and let them know that you are in college or that you are just interested in computers and you want to offer your services for free to them to fix their computer issues. I can guarantee you that most of them will not bat an eye. They will bring you in and see what you can do. And that is worth its weight in gold because you're trying to get experience. So when you get into those three subjects of how to break into the IT world and get that experience, again, I'm really going to advocate for nonprofits, mainly because they are a corporate entity and they will run like a corporation, usually, and that they will give you a chance to get experience with how a normal desktop support might work in a real corporate environment. They have servers, they have client operating systems, they have emails, they have their own domains, and you're not just going to be dealing with password resets all day. You're going to be actually fixing computers for these individuals. So the next point that I have to make is about certifications, and this is really a debated subject, and a lot of people have been giving me flack on Facebook for what I think is important to get into the field and how the certification paths work and so on. A lot of people advocate for A+ certification through the CompTIA organization, and I do not agree with them. The reason why I don't agree with them is because CompTIA A+ is a very basic certification. It has a lot of great material. It covers customer service. It covers the history of computers. It covers, the basics of how computers work. That certification and letter next to your name is not going to mean much from my experience. You're going to go in, you're going to have your 6 months of experience. That's what they're going to care about. They're going to care about that experience. The A+ doesn't mean anything to hiring managers. They're just going to say, oh, well, you went and got an A+. I don't care. Another thing to remember behind the A+ too is that this is 2 tests. I think each of them is like $150. That's $300 to get your A+ certification for no one to care. Why would you do it? Great to know the information, but you're going to figure out all that information by working for nonprofits and doing volunteer work and fixing your friends and family's computers whenever they get a virus or whatever the case may be. So let's just throw A+ out of the equation. It's worthless. There's also Net Plus, Server Plus, Linux Plus, so on and so forth. I will say that Linux is a good one to also get. Linux Plus, although you might not be working in Linux, it's good to know. It actually is really, really good to know. And I think that the way that CompTIA has things planned out within the Linux Plus certification is a pretty good entry-level way of understanding it. As far as the rest of them, Net Plus, Server Plus, all of that, they're just, nobody cares. Nobody cares about them because you're going to go into Cisco or you're going to go into Microsoft, and that's what they care about. They care about the experience, they care about brand name recognition, and the rest of the CompTIAs, no one cares about except for Security Plus. Security Plus is a huge, huge weight on your resume, and I don't know why. It's a very easy certification to get, especially if you pick up the Cybex books and watch a couple YouTube videos on it. It's not a hard certification at all, but employers really, really like it. Hiring managers really, really like it. I think it's because a lot of people just don't have it. I mean, that might not also be the case because a lot of people don't have Server Plus, but that one doesn't make any difference when you're being hired. So Security Plus gives you a foundation, a basic level foundation of how security works within an enterprise and in computers. It's not going to teach you how to hack. It's not going to teach you how to do penetration tests. It's not going to teach you any of that stuff. It's just going to give you a basic foundation for security. If you want to start getting into more advanced stuff, the CASP certified advanced security practitioner through CompTIA, that's actually a pretty good certification, and it will definitely give you a little bit more insight into the security world if that's where you want to go. But regardless of whether you don't want to go in security or not, I really advise getting the Security Plus certification because it does carry weight. Other than that, no one cares about the rest of the CompTIA certifications, and you should just pass on them. So the next thing that we're going to come to is, where do you go next? You know, you've got a few months on helping a volunteer organization fix their computers, and now you have your Security Plus certification. What do you do now? You start applying to jobs in IT, help desks. You want to really reach out to your local recruiters. Actually, that's one that I just don't ever see on Reddit, on Facebook, on Twitter. Just nobody really gives that information and says, hey, if you have 6 months of experience in your Security Plus certification, hit up these recruiters. Go to Robert Half, go to Insight Global, go to Modus, go to your tech systems. Just hit them up. Find out who your local technology recruiters are in your area and let them know that you exist. Give them a resume that shows your current experience level and that certification, and they will do their best to find you a job. This works in some areas better than others, but recruiters will definitely try to get you a job. And if it's entry level, then you might be doing a Windows 7 refresh, or you might be, doing a 6-month contract for a help desk. Either way, it's your first stepping stone of getting into the field. Hit up the recruiters in your area. They don't know anything about IT, but they will get you jobs. So after that, where you want to go is now you have a real job in IT, and even if you're still working on getting your first entry-level position, go for Microsoft. Microsoft runs everything in business. I mean, not literally, but it does mean a lot in the corporate environment. Almost everybody is going to be using a Windows 7 operating system at this point. You might still run into some Windows XP, but companies, for the most part, refresh their systems to Windows 7, and there will be another refresh. I don't know, maybe they'll skip over 8 just like they did Vista and go to Windows 10, which is actually pretty good. The technical preview is really good. So Microsoft is where you want to go. Do you want to go for the Microsoft Windows 8 certification? No, I don't think so. Do you want to go for SQL first? No, I wouldn't. The best one, in my opinion, that you can go for, and I see the most actual hiring rates with IT managers, is the Microsoft, I don't remember what they call it now, but it's the MCSA and MCSE. It used to be the Microsoft Certified Systems Administrator and Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer. They will give you all the tools that you need to not only pass the Microsoft exams, but also to really actually administer and implement server infrastructure on a corporate level. Again, when you're doing those tests, I cannot recommend enough, when you have a virtualized lab environment in your home, that you take the time to not just learn the Microsoft way, but also learn multiple ways of achieving the same results that they're asking you to achieve. This will give you a very well-rounded knowledge of how Server 2008 or 2012 work, which I do say if you're certifying, go for 2012. That, yeah, do server 2012, server and infrastructure. You really want to spend a lot of time getting this certification and understanding it. Now, the reason why I say go for server infrastructure and not, a Windows 8 certification or something else is that server infrastructure means something to IT hiring managers, and they assume that if you know how to install, configure, and administer a server, you know how to install, configure, and administer a Windows 7 computer on the network. That might not always be the case, but usually, I mean, by this point, you should know how, the basics work of client operating systems, for end users. So MCSA, MCSE, go get them. They're awesome. No, they're not entry-level certifications. They will increase your pay grade, especially if you know that information. It just will. And I don't know what else to say about that. So the next thing that I'm going to come to is networking. Networking is kind of an interesting thing right now because there's a lot going on with network engineering and networks as a whole, with the whole software-defined networking thing that's going on. But what you need to understand is that the CCENT is still an awesome exam to understand networking, and I don't think that that's going to go out of style. The CCNA, on the other hand, it's going to be a wanted certification for another couple of years. But once your IT infrastructure and your IT people decide to go to software-defined networking, which they will once the standard is ratified, CCNAs probably won't be needed that much anymore. Your higher level Cisco guys most definitely will still be needed, but that's because, well, they're gurus and they know everything about networking, and yeah, CCIE is just making buku dollars, and it's never going to go out of style, not for a long, long time. So should you get your CCNA right now? If you're close to it, I would say so. If you're going for your Microsoft and then your Cisco, wait until a standard has been ratified for software-defined networking, and wait for a test to come out through Cisco or even Juniper at that point, or VMware, or whoever. That will be future-proofed. That will ensure that you're not just throwing money away for a year's worth of certification use. I mean, maybe more, who knows. It's just, like I said, it's one of those things where networking's in limbo right now, and it's just something that you should be aware of. So don't get Network Plus. CompTIA Network Plus, it's just not worth it. Do you want to get your help desk initiative or help desk, whatever it is? No, it's not worth it. Nobody cares, and all that's going to say is just that you want to be help desk for the rest of your life, which you do not. That sucks. That would really suck, actually. The next one that I'm going to touch on is the ITIL. It's the Information Technology Industry Library, whatever it stands for. I might be wrong on that. ITIL is actually a really good certification, in my opinion. It is an entry-level management certification. A lot of people look at it as, but I think that it really is a solid certification to get, maybe even before the Microsoft certifications. It's just one of those certifications where managers most likely have gone through the ITIL framework, and they want people who know the foundations of how ITIL works. Yeah, I would say get it. That's definitely one I would say get. Apple certified technician, I don't think you should probably worry about that. Definitely do your research and learn Macs. Macs are starting to pop up like wildfire. Well, they've been around for a while, but it's something to know about. If you're going to be in IT, you want to know both Windows and Macs. It couldn't hurt. So as far as the Apple certified technician goes, I wouldn't recommend it though, unless you want to work on the Genius Bar. The next point that I really want to hit on is recertification. A lot of these certifications require you to recertify every 3 years. I don't really think you need to. Once you have your MCSA or MCSC title, you can coast on it. And the biggest thing to understand once you're working in IT and once you have the certifications is to not let that knowledge escape you. Always pick up the coursework for the newest iteration, because you want to be in the know. You want to be on the bleeding edge of technology, and if you're not, then someone else is, and you will be replaced. Too often do I see people that they get their job in IT and then they just coast. They've got their certification, they just coast, and they never ever keep up on the knowledge. They're just there to collect a paycheck, and you don't want to be one of them. I want to stress that. You do not want to be one of them. You want to be the guy who knows the newest technology. You want to be in the know. You want to be the guy who goes home and spends an hour every night, looking at tech articles and reading, the newest technology available. Go out there and just immerse yourself in this stuff. I mean, hit up Interop, hit up, CES, hit up, if you can't get to those places, just go online, go on YouTube and look up the keynotes for Interop. The stuff you will learn there will let you know where you need to go down the road, and what books you should pick up to learn what's coming up in the near future, and it will give you an idea that most people in IT don't have a clue about, depending on where you live. I mean, if you're in Seattle or San Francisco or something, of course you're in the know. You're the people that are probably making the news, and you know about it before the conferences even do. So those are some pretty cool places to visit as well. Again, I want to go back and I want to stress, experience is everything in IT. It trumps everything. So once you have your certifications, once you have a job in IT, then make sure that you know as much as you can about the field that you've entered. You're never going to end school in this field, and you need to always be on top of the technology, and that is what's going to make you a lot of money. The more things you know in IT, the more money you're going to make. If you know how to work in Linux, and you know how to work in Windows, and you know how to configure a router or a switch, and you know how to configure the new Citrix client, and so on and so forth. I mean, that's going to make you valuable. That's what's going to make you money, and that's what you probably want in the end. So just don't get stuck in that rut where you only think about the money. You have to really enjoy this field to want to be successful and to want to be the next game changer, the person that you don't have to find your way into the field anymore. People will search for you. They will look for you. That's what you want, and that's where the money's at. So that's it for today. I will expand on a lot of these topics. A lot of people are probably like, oh, well, you didn't cover, IT security. You didn't cover management. You didn't cover a whole lot of Linux. You didn't cover cloud technologies with VMware and Citrix and so on. I promise you, be getting into these subjects. And if you just want to comment on, the space down here, then I will definitely answer your questions. I will be putting out these vlogs pretty regularly, I think. It's a lot easier than typing things out in my blog, so I'll probably keep that up to date and continue doing these videos if you guys enjoy them. So like me on Facebook, Twitter, and the social media sphere, and let me know what you guys want. If you guys want more information on a certain subject, maybe a certain certification, or why do you not like, Server Plus, just let me know. So for today, I am signing off. Thank you.